Part 158. The Pentium Era, South to North. Author, Mei Shi Niang. Chapter 1572. The next morning, Wen Wen came to the Wangfu Hotel to pick up Zhang Chen and Zhao Xian and take them to her company. When they sat down in their office, Zhang Chen and Wen Wen Qian said that their factory in Xiaosha was going to be demolished. The two of them were startled, and Wen Wen shouted, "Such a big factory is going to disappear." Zhang Chen smiled bitterly and said, "Yes, no more. In the future, there will be a small factory at Xiaoli's place, just like yours, specializing in the business on Doubao.com, Zhang Chen said. Wen Wen and Qian were silent. After a while, Wen Wen comforted Zhang Chen and said, it's okay, Mr. Zhang. Such a big factory has a lot of troubles. It's exhausting to manage it. Qian said, that's right, it's good to be like us. We still have time to hang out with college students every day and sit on our laps while eating. Zhang Chen laughed and said, then I will let Xiaoli go out for fun in the future. The two of them took Zhang Chen to the sample room to see their newly designed works. Wen Wen and Qian thought Zhang Chen didn't know, but Zhang Chen actually saw it at a glance. Many of the clothes were designed by He Hongmei. Wen Wen and Qian introduced her, they both said our designer and no one mentioned He Hongmei's name. Zhang Chen looked at these clothes, and he could imagine the scene when He Hongmei squinted her eyes and said that she needed to make a vent here and put a lace here. For a moment, Zhang Chen almost blurted out and asked, how is Hongmei now? But when the words came to his lips, they were not spoken. Wen Wen and Qian accompanied him in the sample room and watched carefully. On the cutting table, there was a design draft faxed by He Hongmei. He Hongmei habitually signed the word red plum on it. Wen Wen quickly took a piece of fabric and threw it on top of the design draft. Zhang Chen saw it but kept silent. It wasn't until they walked out of the sample room and arrived at the sewing workshop outside that Wen Wen and Qian breathed a sigh of relief. The four of them had lunch near Wen Wen and Qin's company. Zhang Chen asked Wen Wen, where is your strong man? I've heard about it for years, but I've never seen it before. I dumped him. This idiot only knows how to hum and exert brute strength. He has no emotions at all, Wen Wen said, and Zhang Chen laughed. Zhao Xian didn't understand and asked, what is he? Wen Wen and Qian laughed wildly, and Wen Wen said, what can two people, a man and a woman alone, do together at night? Zhao Xian understood and turned red. Qian said, you gangster, look at it, it made Zhao Xian blush. Zhao Xian smiled coyly and blushed even more. When Wen Wen walked out of the box to order the dishes, Qian lowered her body and whispered to them that it was actually the strong man whose eyes were sneaky every time he saw Xiang Nan. Zhang Chen and Zhao Xian understood. When Wen Wen came back, Zhang Chen asked her how Xiang Nan was doing now. Very good, promising. Wen Wen waved her hand. Unfortunately, this little girl just has too strong a personality. What's wrong? Zhang Chen asked. In her class, other students are competing for roles and can't get them. Fortunately for her, she actually started picking out scripts. She thought this role was too retarded and that role was too boring. She recommended several films and said she wouldn't act if she didn't want to. I even offended those directors. Wen Wen said and suddenly laughed. She said, it's not bad. I haven't become a superstar yet, but I have already tasted the style of a superstar agent. Now those people are coming to invite Nan. Their mouths are sweeter than anything else. I also took the opportunity to show off. Zhang Chen and the others laughed, and Zhang Chen cursed, Xiang Nan has the same virtue as her mother. Really? Sister Shahen is like this too, Wen Wen asked. Zhang Chen said, she is not picky about her acting. She is the protagonist anyway, so there is nothing to choose from. For example, when we go out to perform, and when we go to a place, we meet someone inviting us to dinner, and we specify that we want her to accompany us, whether it is the mayor or the mayor. No matter the county magistrate, she would never give anyone face. If she refused to attend, she would not attend. As a result, Captain Yang Yang could only lie and say that she had diarrhea. I have lied so many times that Lao Yang himself has forgotten that once in Wenzhou Qiangtang, when he told him, the other party scolded him, saying that this is the fourth time that you, Fan Liwa, have diarrhea. Every time she comes is our bank just suffering from diarrhea. Wen Wen and the others laughed, and Zhang Chen also laughed and said. Fortunately, Lao Yang was quick-witted. He retorted, "You are at the seaside. We are from the mountains and we don't have access to seafood. As soon as we arrive at your place, we eat all we can without having diarrhea. Not only does she have diarrhea, so does our whole group. All have diarrhea." "Awesome, this old Yang is smart," Wen Wen said. "What's so clever about it?" As a result, when we performed there for 5 days, we were all catered by local people. During those 5 days, we couldn't see any seafood. We only had green vegetables and tofu every day. Everyone's faces turned sallow after eating. Xiao Wu and the others were shouting, "If you continue to eat like this, you won't even be able to do somersaults," Zhang Chen said. The 3 men laughed. "But now she's better. Now that all the thorns in Tan Shahan's body are gone, she can get along with everyone. She eats like a fish in water and cope with it very well," Zhang Chen said. "It's not the same," Qian said. "We have now learned to speak human language when meeting people and ghosts when meeting ghosts. There is no other way. As long as you do business, you will have no temper at all. Some disgusting guys, what did they see? Women all think they are for sale. If it had been before, I would have slapped him, and now I will smile at him. Our Nanan can do it, let's make her so proud," Wen Wen said. "Sister Shahan is not short of money anyway. When our Nanan graduates and has time, I will find a good book for her and another good one. The director made it tailor-made to make her an instant hit. In our industry, after a person becomes really famous, there will be less right and wrong, and ordinary people can't reach such a high level." Zhang Chen said, "Yes, if Tan Shahan is stingy then, I can invest." "Okay, then we've settled on it," Wen Wen shouted. After eating, Wen Wen and Qian took them to the airport. The 4 of them hugged each other goodbye at the security checkpoint. This was the end of their trip to Beijing for Zhang Chen and Zhao Xian. After Zhang Chen and others went to Beijing, here in Hangzhou, there was a lot of excitement surrounding the demolition of Zhang Chen and his factory. Everyone knows that the sooner this kind of thing is resolved, the better. If it is delayed until later, you will just bite the bullet and help. When they solved it, they also offended others. They also offended the people behind Zhang Chen, thinking that you don't know how to praise. Only then will we truly be different from each other inside and out. When the appraisal company was still in Zhang Chen's factory, Director Chu told the boss of the appraisal company to measure the width, shake the measuring tape a few more times, and move the price to the highest standard. Anyway, such a large-scale project needs to be demolished, and the entire Jianghan area will be demolished. This is the only one in the district. There is no comparison with other units. The boss of the appraisal company understands that if you measure within the width, water should be added to the place where water should be added. Who doesn't know how to add water? As long as you don't have any objections. The appraisal company has been busy at Zhang Chen's factory for 3 days. There are too many things that need to be inspected and registered. It is exactly what Director Chu said. This project is too big. The real estate certificate says it is more than 86,000 square. They were holding the measuring tape, and their hands were almost sore. After 3 days of on-site work, the next step is to work behind closed doors. This is faster. There are standards and templates anyway. Don't we mean to rely on the highest standards? Just rely on it. 2 days later, the evaluation report came out. Director Chu called Tan Shahen. Tan Shahen went over to take a look. She saw that the property was compensated at 1,280 yuan per square meter. This was indeed the highest standard. The 72 acres of land was also compensated according to the standard. The compensation of 430,000 acres is already the highest standard among industrial land. Coupled with decoration compensation, business suspension compensation, relocation compensation, etc., the evaluation company gave a total of 15.2 billion for the entire project. After Tan Shahen read it, she told Director Chu that it was okay. Just ask them to notify Mr. Zhang to sign the demolition agreement. Director Chu was a little surprised and asked if this was enough. Of course, Tan Shahen said. Can you make the decision for Mr. Zhang? Tan Shahen smiled and said, okay. Director Chu was still uneasy and asked, Mr. Zhang really has no other requirements? Tan Shahen asked, did he have any other requests? Director Chu was speechless for a moment. The two parties quickly signed the demolition agreement, and things went so smoothly, which greatly surprised many people. None of the expected phone calls came, and the matter was resolved. The city asked the district, who said half an acre of land should be used as a nail household. The district chief asked the town chief, who of you said that half an acre of land should be used as a nail household? The mayor asked Secretary Chiu and Director Zhang, what are you reporting blindly? Who said that half an acre of land should be used as a nail household? Secretary Chiu was unconvinced and shouted, aren't you the ones talking about it? When did we report to you that Mr. Zhang wants to be the nail in the door? Mr. Zhang never told us. The mayor vaguely remembered something, but it was inconvenient for him to say it. He could only tell Secretary Chiu, after all, the matter has been resolved. Will there be no difficulties in the future? Who says no? Everyone in the village is harder to talk to than Mr. Zhang, so they have to be the thorny households, Secretary Chiu said angrily. After signing the demolition agreement, Tan Shahen was very happy. She told Zhang Chen, this bad thing has turned into a good thing again. Your factory should have tripled the compensation and investment. This result is pretty perfect. Zhang Chen smiled and said nothing. He didn't feel happy at all. He knew that the result was not bad, but he just felt that this was not what he wanted at all. Zhang Chen subconsciously determined that this factory was the road he and Xiao Zhao had worked so hard to get out of. As the factory grew bigger and bigger, they seemed to feel that the road ahead was getting wider and wider, and their hopes became brighter and brighter. Once the factory was no longer yes, that means there is one less way out. Can the way out be calculated with money? If a person has no way out, no matter how much money he has, what's the use of just looking at the numbers on the account and giggling every day? After signing the agreement, Zhang Chen felt empty in his heart. He felt as if a piece of his past had been completely ripped away. He didn't know what could be used to fill this gap. Money certainly couldn't do it anyway. When he stood on the roof of the factory again, he felt like a defeated rooster. Thank you to readers 1297873838407110656, Daos Hung 123, for the reward of 2 fishes at 3 o'clock in the middle of the night. Thank you, I am Wenking, JDD, Crush Killer VIP, have a safe journey. Monthly Pass. Thanks for all the votes and reading. I wish you all good health. The Pentium Era, South to North. Author, Mei Shi Niang. Chapter 1573. Luzhen's Zhejiang Jingxia Badminton Club moved out from the upper floor of the dynamic zone. The badminton hall is larger than the basketball hall. It originally had 8 plastic badminton courts. Zhang Chen changed the badminton hall and basketball hall, and told Hagen that the badminton hall should be turned into an experience hall. The people selling sports equipment below should let them come up and decorate it themselves, so that when customers need to try out their equipment, they can come up. Experience. Hagen thought this was a good idea and immediately went to find relevant merchants. Zhang Chen gave the basketball court to Xiaoli and the others. When Xiaoli saw such a big venue, she simply moved the entire e-commerce department there. She said that it would be more convenient to take orders and pack them at the same time, and the place was big enough anyway. Zhang Chen called Ji Ling and Su Qiaxin over. He told Ji Ling that the design center would transform into a professional design company. In addition to some of the original designers, it would continue to design clothing and wedding dresses for Target, as well as the e-commerce department. Design clothing for sale online, in addition to designing other products. This part of the designed works can be selected by Target, or they can be handed over to Su Qiaxin's foreign trade company to take to the Canton Fair. After a customer places an order, Su Qiaxin and others can then send it to the factory for production. In this case, Ji Ling, the designers here need to be more powerful, and they cannot all be fashion designers. Ji Ling said yes, but I think, Master, we still need to have a general direction. We should develop gifts and stationery first. After this is done well, we can then consider doing other things. Zhang Chen agreed with Ji Ling's opinion. Zhang Chen's Genshin power plant's garment factory was completed ahead of Zhao Zhigang's Zhongshan factory. Xiaoli and Zhao Zhigang discussed that some of the workers who were not going to go to Zhongshan with them would be sent to Genshin power plant first, so that there it can be put into production immediately. Zhao Zhigang selected the people and handed them over to Xiaoli. After Xiaoli arranged to go to the Genshin power plant, the garment factory was quickly at full capacity. E-commerce is growing very fast, and it can be said that it is changing with each passing day. 100 parking spaces are actually not enough. There are some best-selling models that need to be stocked, so Xiaoli places an order for production at the Xiaosha factory. Zhao Zhigang conducted a thorough survey of all workers in the factory. After the statistics were compiled, Zhao Zhigang and Zhang Chen said that about 1/5 of the people were unwilling to go down. Zhang Chen was surprised. There were 700 or 800 people. Zhang Chen asked, "What should we do? You have lost so many people all of a sudden." Zhao Zhigang said, "I have nothing to do here. Zhao Zhilong is in Zhongshan, making preparations and recruiting workers at the same time. It is very easy to recruit workers there. Many people come out, worried that no one will take care of them at home, but when the factory opens at their doorstep, they are all willing to come in factory work." Zhang Chen nodded. "Boss, I'm thinking that these are skilled workers that we have brought out for several years. It would be a pity to lose them like this. Here in Xiaoli, according to this trend, 100 parking spaces will definitely not be enough. Why can't we keep these workers in the company?" Zhao Zhigang and Zhang Chen said. Zhang Chen smiled bitterly and said, "I would like to stay, but I have no place to stay. Genshin power plant is only such a big place. I also reserved 100 parking spaces based on that place. If there is no more space, I can't fit it in. You can't just go somewhere else and build another factory, right?" Tan Shahen knew about it, and she said to Zhang Chen, "I have a place where you can arrange these people." "Where?" Zhang Chen asked. The spoke factory was originally Chu Tianlin's printing factory. The workshops and dormitories there are ready-made. The entire Gongchen Bridge reconstruction plan has not yet been released. The factory area as big as Hangzhou Silk Road has not been moved yet. It has not been moved. We won't allow development, and we probably won't be able to move it at once. You can move there, Tan Shahen said. Zhang Chen called Xiaoli over and asked her if she wanted to expand production. Xiaoli said, "If it is possible, of course it would be. This can shorten the production cycle and try not to have stockings. Stockings and stockings, I am worried that in the end, they will all be stocked. Became inventory." Zhang Chen said, "Okay, let's go and take a look." Zhang Chen took Xiaoli to the Hangcheng spoke factory, and Tan Shuhen also went with them. When they arrived at the spoke factory, Xiaoli looked at it and said, "This place is much bigger than Genshin power plant, and there is no problem with parking spaces for 500 or 600 vehicles. If so, those people can arrange it, and we don't need to issue orders to do it outside for the time being. We do everything ourselves, so we still have excess production capacity, but it doesn't matter, I will let Li Wei and the others increase sales as soon as possible." Zhang Chen said, "Yes, then I will leave this place to you." Xiaoli bit her lip and thought for a while, then said, "Boss, I have an idea." "You say?" "I don't think we need to divide it into two parts yet. If we divide it into two parts, the cost will increase a lot. Our two factories will definitely have two groups of management and logistics personnel, including pattern making, cutting, and ironing. I have to match two sets of people, it's such a waste." "Then what do you think?" Zhang Chen asked. "My idea is to free up the Genshin power plant first and gather people here. When there is not enough space here, we can then activate the Genshin power plant," Xiaoli said. "What, you mean, that factory has just been built and will no longer be used?" Zhang Chen asked. "Yes, this is the most economical. It's not that we don't use it there. I mean, if there isn't enough here in the future, we can reuse it there." "Isn't this a fool's errand?" Zhang Chen scolded. "Tan Shuhen, why didn't you remind me earlier and tell me to move here? If you had told me earlier, I wouldn't have to build the workshop of Genshin power plant, and just put an exhibition there. The pavilion is enough." "Zhang Chen, don't you feel guilty for saying this? You don't know this place, and you still need me to remind you." Tan Shuhen continued to scold. "Besides, when did you discuss it with me? You only told me after you made your decision. If I hadn't gone to your office that day, you would probably have set up a clothing factory in Genshin power plant. You still won't tell me, right? If you had told me how big of a factory you need, I would definitely recommend this place. Zhang Chen, you are pretending to be mysterious, and in turn you blame me. Are you feeling guilty?" Tan Shuhen scolded Zhang Chen until she was speechless. Xiaoli looked on and laughed. Tan Shuhen angrily said to Xiaoli, "Xiaoli, just do what you say. Don't listen to his opinions. This person's brain is often short-circuited. You can concentrate the factories here. If the machine is missing, if he doesn't give you money, I will give you money to buy it." Xiaoli smiled and said, "Okay, I have decided to move here, otherwise I would have to go to two places every day and kill people." Zhang Chen stopped talking. He knew without thinking or calculating that Xiaoli's method was indeed the most economical. Zhang Chen and Tan Shuhen said, "Okay, you two are wise and I am a fool, right? Say I'm an idiot 3 times, Tan Shuhen said, "otherwise I won't forgive you." Zhang Chen shouted "I'm an idiot" 3 times, and Tan Shuhen and Xiaoli laughed wildly. After Zhang Chen shouted, he said to Tan Shuhen, "Borrow your people for use again and continue here. Are you stupid? They are in this factory. When they need it, let Xiaoli and Lao Tan talk to them. Just call them, and you still need me to give them orders?" Tan Shuhen asked. Zhang Chen was stunned for a moment, and then he remembered that Tan Shuhen's construction company was right next door. Indeed, Xiaoli could call them at any time. Zhang Chen scratched his head and smiled he. Tan Shuhen looked at him, shook her head and said, "I don't know what stimulated you." Zhang Chen's cell phone rang. He looked at it and saw that it was Lu Qing, so he quickly picked it up. Lu Qing told Zhang Chen on the phone that her new topic selection had been approved by her leadership and she would take people back to Hangzhou next week. Zhang Chen was a little confused. He asked, "Is it the university during the anti-Japanese war? Aren't you already filming? I saw it all on TV." Lu Qing chuckled, "How could that be a new topic? Brother Zhang, it was the one we talked about that day, Stories in Oil Paintings, but the title was changed to Paintings Talk, an 8-minute episode. Each episode talks about a painting or a group of paintings. Starting from the painting, I would like to start with the interesting and storytelling collection of your oil painting museum. Zhang Chen said, yes, we will definitely cooperate with you. Not just cooperation, brother Zhang Luqing said. What else do you need? Zhang Chen asked. I have recommended it to the leader, and the leader has agreed. How about asking you to serve as the general consultant for our series? Not only the collections in your museum, I hope that brother Zhang can also recommend other works of art to us. We all think that your views on the work are quite unique, said Luqing. Zhang Chen quickly declined. He said, no, I didn't go to any art school, and I have no theoretical basis. All my opinions are just nonsense. How can I be a general consultant? Don't lead you into a ditch. Luqing chuckled and said, we still need someone like you who is not too academic. Who among today's audiences wants to listen to sermons with a straight face? Also, our writer also said yes, he said that brother Zhang is quite handsome and is very popular. Haha, brother Zhang, you can definitely do it. Don't refuse. If you refuse again, I will. If it really doesn't work, I have no choice but to ask my dad for help, Luqing said. Zhang Chen quickly said, okay, but don't have too much hope. We can either shoot an episode or two first and give it a try. Okay, let's see you next week, Luqing said. Zhang Chen said, okay, see you next week. Zhang Chen hung up the phone and saw Tan Shahen and Xiaoli staring at him with evil intentions on their faces. Zhang Chen raised the phone in his hand and said, work, this is what I'm talking about. Zhang Chen, which girl makes you smile like a flower? Tan Shahen asked. Xiaoli laughed. Your thoughts are really dirty, Tan Shahen. I am seriously talking about work, Zhang Chen said. Luqing's daughter is from CCTV. Luqing's daughter? Still with CCTV? Do you still have work to discuss with CCTV? Tan Shahen asked in disbelief. Of course, Zhang Chen said proudly, and he's the general counsel, the kind who appears on CCTV. Are you just talking about a dream? Tan Shahen scolded. Whoever is talking about a dream is telling the truth. Zhang Chen said that he then told them what Luqing was going to do in Hangzhou next week and what role he, the general counsel, was, and the two of them believed it. Xiaoli shouted, wow, boss, are you going to become a celebrity soon? No, you can sign it for me when you get back. I want to get 2 books, and you can sign them all for me. Everything is signed? Are you going to tear it off one by one and stick it on the door to ward off evil spirits? Zhang Chen scolded. You're still wearing a contraceptive patch on your belly, Tan Shahen scolded, you're not doing your job properly. Xiaoli laughed, and Zhang Chen glared at Tan Shahen and said, why don't you do your job properly? This is the best job I can do, okay. I can greatly increase the popularity of our lakeside oil painting gallery. Thank you to Uncle Wang Pacino and book friend 20210410153124786 for the reward. Thank you Uncle Wang Pacino, UN11, book friends 120211102207691, book friends 201901042017583118. I am Wenking, and I have a monthly ticket of 197900607. Thanks for all the votes and reading. Have a good evening everyone. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. The Pentium Era, South to North. Author, Mei Shi Niang. Chapter 1574. In the next few days, Zhang Chen was either in the library of the China Academy of Art or in the warehouse of his lakeside oil painting gallery, preparing materials for the upcoming painting theory shoot. Zhang Chen knew that he couldn't push this job away. Even if it was for Lu Qingqing's sake, he would help Lu Qing make this show, which could be regarded as an indirect thank you to Lu Changcheng. What's more, this is what Zhang Chen likes to do. It is very meaningful for Zhang Chen to introduce his favorite oil paintings to more people and let them go out of this warehouse and into the eyes of more people. This warehouse has a constant temperature, which is almost the same all year round. No matter whether it is cold in winter or hot in summer outside, Zhang Chen felt a little sorry for them when he looked at the paintings in this warehouse. He felt that they were about to turn into delicate aristocrats here. However, they should not be like this, they should be full of the smoke of reality, they should not be dead, but lively. They, especially the paintings by the old gentleman from the National Art College, were born in such a passionate era. For example, this time Zhang Chen picked out a still life sketch by Zhu Taichun. The whole picture is very simple. It is a simple wooden table with an overturned basket on the table. Inside and outside the basket, there are more than a dozen potatoes. Zhang Chen, I feel that these potatoes are thicker than those painted by Van Gogh. When Mr. Wu Guanzhong visited their oil painting studio that time, he saw this painting. He told Zhang Chen that it was painted in Yuanling, Hunan. The reason why he remembered it so clearly was because that day, he also painted a similar painting. He remembered that that day, 4 or 5 classmates painted the same still life together. When they started painting, there were still a dozen potatoes on the table, but by the time they finished painting, there were actually no potatoes left on the table. Why? Zhang Chen asked curiously. Lin Wenzhong and the others took them away, cooked them and ate them. At that time, everyone didn't have enough to eat every day. How could we let go of so many potatoes? Wu Guanzhong said. The ones who suffered the most were us painters. By the time we finished drawing it, there weren't even any potato skins left. Mr. Wu Guanzhong laughed after saying this, and Zhang Chen also laughed. Mr. Wu and Zhang Chen said, "This is Chu Taichun. We have traveled all the way to promote the anti-Japanese war, dipping a brush in lime water and writing slogans on the walls and houses. This Chu Taichun likes to write the slogans to the top every time." Zhang Chenqing clearly remembers that yes, Mr. Wu did not mean the top, but the highest head. In many places in Jiangsu and Anhui, the top is called the high head. Even Mr. Fule was translating John Christopher. Zhang Chen remembered that he would also use high head unintentionally, such as the high head of the cabinet, the highest head of the wall and so on. Zhang Chen asked Mr. Wu, "Why did Chu Taichun do this and write it to the top? He is tall. Chu Taichun is over 1.90 meters tall." He said, "Aren't all Japanese shorties? If it is written as tall, the Japanese will not be able to reach it and cannot be painted out," Mr. Wu said. When Mr. Wu said this, he couldn't help but laugh again. Zhang Chen seemed to still be able to hear his unrestrained laughter. Zhang Chen selected 10 paintings so that he could make 10 episodes first. Zhang Chen began to collect information around these 10 paintings. He wanted to be on CCTV. He did not dare to talk nonsense and it was not in line with his character. Since he had already agreed, Zhang Chen felt that he should do this well. In their warehouse, along with the paintings, there are many reminiscences written by the old gentleman himself, as well as letters they exchanged. At that time, when Zhang Chen and his colleagues were collecting these works, many of those old gentlemen who had been neglected all their lives really regarded them as their spiritual sustenance. They not only gave or sold their paintings to them, but I also gave them my handwriting of articles and treasured letters between teachers and classmates for safekeeping. Zhang Chen read articles and letters one by one, as if he had returned to that era and was immersed in the atmosphere of that time. Zhang Chen looked at the 10 paintings he had selected. Each one really had a story. There were those by William Cai, and there were the 2 paintings that Wu Guanzhong had selected and given to their oil painting museum. There were those by Wu Deu, and those by Zhang Chen. Chen always believed that Wu Dao could not be praised enough and he was an underestimated master. Among the 10 paintings selected by Zhang Chen, there is also one by Yan Wenliang. Yan Wenliang has nothing to do with the National Art School. This painting itself, like Yan Wenliang's other works, adheres to a plain style. Zhang Chen chose it because of the story behind it is very interesting, but also a bit sad to tell. Yan Wenliang's landscape paintings have the effect of stage sets, and he pays great attention to composition. When the moon and sun appear in his paintings, they always have a certain degree of drama. Zhang Chen used to refer to Yan Wenliang's paintings when painting scenery. This work of Yan Wenliang is not a landscape, but one of his kitchen series of paintings. This painting, and the other 6 works of Yan Wenliang, Zhang Chen and others are all from a good friend of Yan Wenliang and also a close friend of Yan Wenliang. He bought it from the home of an old gentleman who co-founded Suzhou Fine Arts College. The old gentleman and his wife lived in a bungalow at that time. The room was 15 or 16 square meters, including the bedroom, living room, kitchen, and dining room. The house was on a low ground, the room was very humid, and there was a heavy smell. Musty smell. Zhang Chen clearly remembered that when he and Yao Fen walked into the old gentleman's house, the painting was hanging on the wall, above the kerosene stove. There was no frame, just a stretched canvas hanging there. Although the signatures were already very blurry, but Zhang Chen could still tell at a glance that it should be the work of Yan Wenliang. When Zhang Chen took the painting off the wall, there was a thick layer of grease on it. Zhang Chen didn't even dare to wrap the painting in newspaper. He was afraid that the newspaper would be stained with oil on the painting and would not be removed. That day, Yao Fen was holding other paintings, and Zhang Chen was holding this one in his hand. They left the old man's house and walked to the car parked outside, letting the painting lie flat in the trunk. Zhang Chen's hands were stained with grease. He washed them with mineral water and paper towels. They were still sticky to the steering wheel when they drove back to Hangzhou. It wasn't until they stopped at a roadside restaurant for dinner that Zhang Chen I went to the store sink in the morning and washed my hands twice with dish soap before washing them clean. Zhang Chen and Yao Fen joked that this painting kitchen really looked like fireworks, and Yao Fen laughed. Zhang Chen, Yao Fen, and Zhao Xian all like this painting. In the middle of the painting is a huge stove. On the left wall are cupboards and ham and bacon hanging from the beams. There are several bamboo baskets, and on the right side of the picture, near the lattice window, is a chopping board, with a child, head tilted, lying on the chopping board and falling asleep. The whole picture is dark in tone, resembling a quiet scene in the kitchen at dusk. From the half-open grated window, a ray of dusk light shines in and shines on the face of the child who is dozing lazily. This child must have "I am hungry," waiting for my mother to come back from outside and make the kitchen noisy and busy again. This dim and silent tone seems to have a kind of daily sadness. Adults may be worried and busy about big things, but for this child, he is only worried about why his mother has not come back. Zhang Chen and the others returned to Hangzhou at around 10 o'clock in the evening. They put the paintings in the warehouse and went home. In the afternoon of the next day, Yao Fen called Zhang Chen and asked him to go to the oil painting studio immediately, saying that there was something wrong with the painting he bought yesterday. Zhang Chen was startled and thought, how could this be possible? What they bought yesterday were not only paintings by Yan Wenliang, but also works by the old gentleman himself. He also returned from studying in France in his early years. Although he was not well known, his skills were good. Not low. His experience as a classmate and colleague with Yan Wenliang also guarantees the authenticity of Yan Wenliang's paintings. What's more, Yan Wenliang's paintings were not valuable at the time. With this old gentleman's level, he would definitely not bother to make imitations or paintings. People, at least, still have some backbone. Zhang Chen was thinking wildly while driving. When they arrived at the lakeside oil painting gallery and walked into Yao Fen's office, Yao Fen and Zhao Xian looked at him laughing wildly. Zhang Chen asked, "What's wrong? It's so fake." Yao Fen nodded and said, right, outrageous, outrageously wrong." Zhang Chen muttered, "Impossible, I can't possibly make a mistake." Zhao Xian said, "Okay, boss, let me show you." Zhao Xian walked out and came back with a painting in his hand. He turned the painting over and stood it up against the wall. Zhang Chen was startled. He saw that the painting was the kitchen by Yan Wenliang that they bought yesterday. However, this painting was completely different from the one he saw yesterday. The color of the whole painting was bright and full, and it was not what they thought it was at all. Not a kitchen at dusk, but a kitchen in the morning. What shines through the half-open lattice window is the morning sun, not the afterglow of the dusk and sunset. The sleeping child looks like he has had a full breakfast today, has nothing to do, and is lazily taking a nap. Sleep. The scene that looked peaceful and sad yesterday looked so peaceful and peaceful today. Zhang Chen couldn't help but laugh. He understood that this was because the painting had been hanging on the kerosene stove in the old man's house and was the result of long-term smoke and fire. Today, after Zhao Xian and the others cleaned it, the original appearance of the painting was revealed. Zhang Chen stared at the painting for a while and shook his head. He stood up, went to the shelf, and found a document bag. In the document bag, Zhao Xian and the others took photos of the painting before it was cleaned that day. Photo. Zhang Chen felt that this painting could be explained on TV. The focus was not on Yan Wenliang, but on the old man. When Zhang Chen went to Suzhou later, he went to the old man's house again. The door was locked and he asked his neighbors. The husband has passed away, and the old lady was sent to a nursing home in the district by the street. Zhang Chen saw the old lady in the nursing home. The old lady had Alzheimer's disease and could not recognize him at all. Zhang Chen sighed. He felt that similar things could be said on television. He could talk about a group portrait that Rembrandt painted of the Amsterdam City Shooting Company. After the painting was completed, the members of the shooting team took it back. Because the painting was too big to hang in the foyer, the team members took it upon themselves to cut off the periphery of the painting, which caused the entire painting to lose its original balance. The worst thing is that the hall where the painting was hung was heated by a peat fire. Over time, a thick layer of charcoal ash fell on the painting, making the entire painting dull. By the 18th century, people mistook this scene, which was originally during the day, for taking place at night, and named the painting Night Watch. It was also a subsequent cleaning and restoration work that restored the painting to its original appearance, but the parts cut off by the team members could never be restored. When the members of the Archers ordered this painting from Rembrandt, one person paid 100 guilders. If they knew that this painting would be worth hundreds of millions of euros in the future, none of them would have dared to do it. Crop the painting. Thank you for the reward of 2 fishes, half drunk and half awake, at 3 o'clock in the middle of the night. Thank you Guandian Electrical and Mechanical, remember the original intention without seeing the future. Book friend 201803270001449111, Cup Guy API, Wang Huanxiang, Book friend 1608060655000057, Book friend 1205170637066816, Book friend 1202111022076691, Wooden Man's Monthly Ticket. Thanks for all the votes and reading. I wish you all good health. The Pentium Era, South to North. Author, Mei Shi Niang. Chapter 1575. Lu Qing took people to Hangzhou, and Zhao Xian went to pick them up at the airport. They arrived at the Lakeside Oil Painting Gallery. When they entered, they were attracted by Xiaoshu's painting sister. People say, I have seen this painting before, but I didn't expect it to be here. A group of people stood in front of sister, holding their breath and not daring to breathe. Lu Qing asked Zhao Xian in a low voice who was in the painting. Zhao Xian told them, and everyone was sighing. Zhao Xian led them to visit the art gallery first. When they returned to the office, Zhao Jingjing was already waiting for them in Zhao Xian's office. Zhao Jingjing and Zhao Xian said that Mr. Zhang went to the Gome library and would be back soon. He said that the guests should go to our warehouse first to have an intuitive feeling. Zhao Xian said yes. Zhao Jingjing and Zhao Xian went down together, and the two of them opened the warehouse below. Lu Qing and the others became excited when they saw the dazzling collections inside. Lu Qing said that with so many collections, there are so many stories to tell. The writer asked Zhao Xian, "Is your collection just piled up in the warehouse?" Zhao Xian said, "Of course not. The works you see in the exhibition hall outside now will be returned to the warehouse in half a month. There will be another batch of collections on display, one topic at a time, and a program with you. Similarly, the specific works to be exhibited will depend on the needs of the topic, which can not only meet the needs of the audience, but also help protect these collections. The exhibits outside are constantly changing, so as to attract visitors to come to our exhibition hall again and again. Moreover, we are also limited by the venue. If we take out all our collections and display them permanently, the area of our oil painting gallery cannot be expanded even 10 times. By the way, there is only one thing, and that is the sister you saw earlier. It is always in that position," Zhao Xian told them. Looking at such a huge collection in the warehouse, the writer sighed, "I have learned that your oil painting museum currently has the richest collection of oil paintings in the country. I think there will be no museum that can surpass yours in the future, right?" Zhao Xian nodded and said yes, it's impossible. The value of Chinese oil paintings has been discovered by the market. If the collection here is auctioned, it will cost as little as millions, as much as tens of millions or hundreds of millions of dollars. Who still has it, with the financial strength to collect so many collections? Even if we miss that point in time, we won't be able to do it again. It's not just about money. Now that you have money, people hold these treasures in their hands but refuse to sell them to you. You have nothing to do. In addition to financial strength, there are no other ways to acquire them now, right?" the writer asked. "It's really like this," Zhao Xian said, "we used to go out to talk to people, and we never failed. At that time, everyone felt that the things in their hands were not worth much, and no one would want them. If there is an opportunity like this to sell, we should seize it, so every time we buy more than we planned. Of course there are some people who trust our oil painting gallery and feel that these works that they consider very precious are not properly kept in their hands due to various objective reasons. There is such a place. Those old gentlemen who could treat them kindly gave us their creations and collections. Many people are still very stubborn, and they really refuse to accept a penny. They feel that the nature of the matter will change if they accept the money, so they ask us to guarantee that we can take good care of these works. But in recent years, this phenomenon has become rare. Everyone knows that oil paintings are also valuable things. Sometimes, if someone wants to give it away, his family and children will object. Even if we want to buy it, they will not care, no matter what the other party is. Whatever the unit and the storage conditions are, as long as the price is higher than ours, we will sell it to them. It is now much more difficult to collect than before. Everyone's living conditions have been greatly improved compared to before, and they are not so short of money. Even the children know that artworks can maintain and increase their value, so they would rather wait to inherit these works than inherit them. When I inherited money, my willingness to sell it was very low. I felt that the money I received would be spent quickly, but I inherited the paintings and could continue to pass them on. There are also some special circumstances. For example, there is a batch of paintings that I have been tracking for more than 3 years, but have not been successfully acquired yet. "Why?" Lu Qing asked. Zhao Xian smiled and said, "We have reached an acquisition agreement with this old gentleman, and his children have also agreed. The two parties have even negotiated the price. We have also paid the advance payment, and the agreement has been notarized, but there is one thing, this old gentleman hopes that the works he collected can stay with him during his lifetime, so we have to wait. Lu Qing and the others nodded, understanding. While they were talking, Zhang Chen came back. Zhang Chen showed them the 10 paintings he had selected and roughly told the story behind each painting. He said, "We can try to make these 10 episodes first." The writer became excited when he heard what Zhang Chen said. He smiled and said, "I don't have to use my brain anymore. Mr. Zhang, you have organized it very well. Please expand on what you told us and write a little more. Add modifications and the script is ready." When Zhang Chen was talking, Lu Qing had been frowning slightly. She suddenly said, "Brother Zhang, I want to do sister in the first episode, is that okay?" Zhang Chen was shocked, and then he immediately refused, saying, "No, I will never do this." "Why?" Lu Qing asked puzzledly. "I think the story of sister is very touching and can move many audiences." Zhang Chen thought for a moment and said to Lu Qing slowly but seriously, "There are some things, bit by bit, but I can only keep them in my heart. I am not willing to share them with others. I don't even have the desire to let others know. I don't want to use them to win others' sympathy, scolding, or praise. I feel that this is what is in my heart, it always resides in my inner world, and no one can get close to it." Zhang Chen looked at Lu Qing and continued, "I don't know if you can understand what I'm saying. If you don't understand it yet, I understand it too. When you get older, you will understand. Everyone has his own persistence. In everyone's heart, everyone has their softest and hardest part." Lu Qing and the writer both nodded. Although Lu Qing was disappointed, she still said, "I understand, Brother Zhang. Then we will follow Brother Zhang's arrangement and start from these 10 episodes." Zhang Chen nodded and said, "Yes, thank you." For the opening sequence of paintings, Lu Qing paired it with the walking segment from Mussorgsky's piano suite paintings at an exhibition, and then Zhang Chen appeared in the exhibition hall of the Lakeside Oil Painting Gallery and walked towards one of the paintings was introduced. During the introduction, Zhang Chen's voice faded out and a voiceover was inserted. At the same time, a large amount of background information, pictures and images appeared on the screen. When it came to the key point of the story, it turned back to Zhang Chen who was sitting. The scene at that time was in a room decorated with an artistic atmosphere in the club next door. Then as Zhang Chen narrated, the content expanded, Zhang Chen's voice faded out, and the picture also changed. The entire film starts with a painting and ends with this painting. When previewing the paintings to be introduced in the next episode, the background music is still walking from Mussorgsky's piano suite paintings at an exhibition. The fragment seems to take the audience on a stroll to the next work. After the program was aired, it quickly attracted the attention of a large number of viewers. There was a lot of praise on the internet, saying that this is one of the few well-made films seen in recent years. It is in-depth and interesting, and truly explains the profound things in a simple way. Zhang Chen's Mandarin with a southern accent also attracted many people. Everyone asked, "Which art school is this old handsome guy a professor at? How interesting would it be if I could take his class?" Someone immediately said, "If you are from the South, you should be from the United States." Then Zhang Chen was dug out from the internet, and everyone discovered that not only was he not a professor at the Academy of Fine Arts, he had nothing to do with the Academy of Fine Arts. As for his connection with art, he is the owner of the Lakeside Oil Painting Gallery and a collector. Wow, someone discovered it? This guy turned out to be a billionaire. The word billionaire immediately attracted the attention of many people. Even those who had no interest in oil painting, in turn, because of billionaire, to click on these programs, painting quickly became popular on the internet. Then more identity and information about Zhang Chen were dug out, including the fashion show he designed. Zhang Chen and painting became a lively news topic on the internet. Lu Qing called Zhang Chen and told him excitedly, Brother Zhang, our ratings are rising steadily, it's great. Zhang Chen chuckled. Lu Qing said that a publishing house wants to publish a picture album of our painting theory with rich pictures and text. I recommend Brother Zhang to design this book. Don't refuse. Zhang Chen smiled bitterly and said, I didn't expect that so much trouble would come out of being on TV. Not only were the 18 generations of ancestors dug up, but also all the old and rotten millet things were found out, and a lot of me were also found out. Unknown classmates and relatives came forward to give their own opinions. Fortunately, I have a good foundation and no dirty information. Otherwise, I would be dead this time. Lu Qing giggled on the phone. Zhang Chen said, what other provincial and municipal TV stations are so annoying that they all come to me to tell me what programs they want to cooperate with? How can I have so much to say and not show my timidity even if I talk too much? Brother Zhang, you are a celebrity now. Doesn't it feel good to be a celebrity? Lu Qing asked. What's good, I just want to find a place to hide, Zhang Chen said. Yes, you are in the right state. Many celebrities said this after becoming famous. Lu Qing chuckled, Brother Zhang, do you know the power of our CCTV now? Some people say that as long as you stand in the center even pigs can take off in the TV station's spotlight. Brother Zhang, you are the one taking off now. Lu Qing chuckled and couldn't talk anymore. Thank you, poor scholar, for your reward. Thank you, Crush Killer VIP, and have a safe journey. Fantasy in the Wind, monthly ticket, that ZI once said. Thanks for all the votes and reading. Have a good evening everyone. The Pentium Era, South to North. Author, Mei Shi Niang. Chapter 1576. Wen Wen called Zhang Chen and told him, Mr. Zhang, you are a celebrity now. If I don't want to do it, I must be your agent. Zhang Chen held the phone in his hand and laughed dumbly, scolding, stop talking nonsense, what kind of agent do I need? Of course, all celebrities need agents, Wen Wen shouted, otherwise, what would you do if someone invites you to attend some event or interviews you on TV stations, newspapers, and websites? It's nothing for you to interview them. Are you a platform for others? You are a celebrity, how dare you lower your face and bargain with others? Why don't you leave it to a shameless person like me? Zhang Chen laughed and said quickly, okay, Wen Wen, thank you for your kindness. However, no one has invited me to participate in any activities now, and I am not interested in attending. Oh, someone will come to invite you soon, Wen Wen said, also, I am your agent, and I will also take the initiative to help you contact events and interviews. Events must be paid. As for interviews, some are accepted and some are not, depending on the media. Go away, I'm not a monkey, am I being led around by you? I don't want to live like this, Zhang Chen scolded. Wen Wen laughed on the phone and said, if you were a monkey, I would be reluctant to lead you away. I will definitely hold you every day and let you smell your fragrance. Go away again, Zhang Chen scolded. Okay, Mr. Zhang, but I have made an agreement with you. If you let someone else be your agent, then I won't do it. I will pester you every day, Wen Wen said. Zhang Chen didn't want to continue messing around with her, so he hung up the phone. After hanging up Wen Wen's call, Lu Qing called. She told Zhang Chen that the response to the first 10 issues was good and the leader had assigned the task. Painting theory will continue. After finishing your oil painting studio, we will continue. As for other museums, we have already contacted the National Art Museum of China. Brother Zhang, if you have time, come and take a look at their collections. Zhang Chen said that if they want to continue, it will not be their turn yet. I will have no problem doing dozens more issues here. Lu Qing said, I know, I let you take a look first, just to make you feel prepared. By the way, I will go to their place, and they seem to be very familiar with you. Zhang Chen said yes, our oil painting gallery has business dealings with them, and we usually lend each other collections. That would be even better, Lu Qing said. Also, my colleague came to me, not from our literature and art department, but from the special topic department. Their 100 lecture forum column wanted to ask Brother Zhang to give a lecture on the National Art College when you come. Brother Zhang, I will arrange a trial lecture. If you pass the trial lecture, you can officially start the lecture. Zhang Chen was shocked. He usually read 100 schools forum. He knew that the lectures there were all professors and experts. How could he be qualified to give lectures? Zhang Chen quickly said no, my ability is limited. Lu Qing smiled and said, Brother Zhang, you are being humble again. I asked you to be the general consultant, but you said no. Look at the results, how good the response was. Isn't it the 100 schools forum? You can definitely do it, Brother Zhang. I know you better than you know yourself. But, the people I like on that show are all professors and experts. What, are you afraid? Brother Zhang, since when did you start to be afraid of professors and experts? We usually interact with you, but you have never been afraid, Lu Qing said. Zhang Chen was stunned for a moment. Yes, wasn't he usually very arrogant? When he talked about it, he always said that others were bullshit experts and professors. Why did he admit that he was a coward at this time? Have you ever bowed to authority? Zhang Chen murmured, it's not that I'm afraid, but what? Brother Zhang, you are also an expert. Zhang Chen smiled and said, I am something of an expert. Of course you are an expert, Lu Qing said. How many people across the country can discover the value of Chinese oil paintings so early and start to collect and protect them consciously? What does it mean? It shows that you have a unique vision. The so-called experts, don't you just have a unique vision? Can discover things that others cannot, and can see values that others cannot see. Brother Zhang, why are you not an expert? After our special topic was broadcast, there was a great response at home and abroad. Many people in the industry called us and asked us to convey their gratitude. They said, what you did is amazing. If it weren't for you, there would be so many excellent works. Probably more than half of them will disappear and be buried, but you saved them. By the way, someone has contacted us and said that they also want to donate their collection to your oil painting gallery. I have given them Zhao Xian's phone number. Brother Zhang, the program 100 Schools of Lectures has a great influence now. If you appear on hundreds of schools of lectures, on the one hand, it can expand the influence of your oil painting studio. On the other hand, it can also allow the National Art Academy to move westward during the anti-Japanese war. Let more viewers know about it. Let them understand that at that time, in the flames of war everywhere, there was not only the Southwest Associated University, which preserved the cultural fire for this country, but also a large number of people. How do you put it? I remember it was, in their own words, their feet measure the broken rivers and mountains, preserving the lifeblood of art for this country. They are as evocative as the soldiers in front. Now, there are almost no people left alive at the National Art College. Brother Zhang, you were the one who had the most contact with these old gentlemen when they were still alive, the one who understood them the best, and the one who was most trusted by them. I think you have a responsibility to tell their stories, they shouldn't go untold. Zhang Chen was convinced by Lu Qing's words. He said, okay, Lu Qing, I will try to the best of my ability. Okay, Brother Zhang, are you ready? Decide when to arrive in Beijing. I will finalize the trial time with them. By the way, Brother Zhang, do you have an agent? Lu Qing asked. Zhang Chen smiled and said, why do I need an agent? Of course. Otherwise, you have to negotiate and implement contracts, program schedules, event arrangements, etc. by yourself. That would be a waste of time. Zhang Chen said, I don't have an agent, but I have a friend who said she wanted to be my agent. Does she have experience in this area? Lu Qing asked. Zhang Chen said yes. Where are people now? Zhang Chen said, right in Beijing. Brother Zhang, please give me her phone number. We also need to finalize the contract with her for the set of books we are collaborating on, Lu Qing said. Zhang Chen agreed and told Lu Qing Wen's phone number. In the afternoon, Wen called Zhang Chen again and said to him, Boss, I will take the latest flight today to Hangzhou. I will arrive at 9:30 in the evening. You can pick me up at the airport. Zhang Chen smiled and said, Oh, you have such a sweet mouth, why did you change your name? Wen giggled, I am already your agent, so of course I have to call you boss. Why, Lu Qing contacted you? Zhang Chen asked. Not only did I contact her, I also met with her and the producer of CCTV's special topic department, Wen said. Moving so fast. Zhang Chen was surprised. He just gave Wen's phone number to Lu Qing. Unexpectedly, Wen was in Beijing and had already started working. Of course, I am serious about being an agent, Wen said. At around 9 o'clock in the evening, Zhang Chen picked up Wen at Xiaoshan Airport. As soon as we met, Wen told Zhang Chen that I only had one night, and I would rush back to Beijing tomorrow afternoon and have a meeting with the film crew tomorrow night. The film's assistant director met and they wanted to hire Nan to play the second female lead in it. It's so urgent, then why are you rushing here? Zhang Chen said. When discussing a contract with you, I need to understand your work. It's embarrassing to be your agent and not understand your work at all, Wen said. I have to meet with the producer of CCTV the day after tomorrow, at the latest the day after tomorrow. You are going to Beijing to give a trial lecture, and you can prepare in these 2 days. Zhang Chen smiled and said, I'm not in a hurry, you can come in a few days. Why aren't you in a hurry? Wen shouted, it's true that you are a celebrity now, but do you know that celebrities have a shelf life? We need to take as many orders as possible while you are still fresh and tender. Son, only by frequently appearing on TV and in the media can you prolong your shelf life. Let me tell you, once the shelf life is over, you will pass it on to others and they will ignore you. Zhang Chen laughed, looked at Wen and said, you are really good at it. Of course Wen handed the trolley case to Zhang Chen and said to him, Boss, hold it for me. Zhang Chen took Wen's trolley case and pushed it forward. Wen took 2 steps to catch up, stretched out her hand to hold Zhang Chen's arm, and said to him, let's go. The 2 people walked towards the parking lot. Wen and Zhang Chen said, I am your agent now, and you have to listen to my arrangements. Do you know that everything I arrange for you is for your own good? If you don't listen, I'm going to go crazy. Zhang Chen laughed and said, okay, I will listen to you. That's pretty much it, Wen giggled. The 2 got in the car, and Zhang Chen asked Wen, go to the hotel to stay first. No, Wen quickly shook her head and said, there are a lot of things to do today, let's do it first. Wen looked at her watch as she spoke and muttered, it's already 10 o'clock. By the time everything is done, it will probably be past 12 o'clock. At that time, if you go to the hotel and grind with the little girl at the front desk, you can still grind for half the price house. Zhang Chen laughed and said, no, I'll treat you. TCH, your money is not money. Are you a rich slut? Wen said, let's go to the office first. Zhang Chen said, okay, let's go to the dynamic zone. The car drove not far away, and Wen asked, boss, can you go into the lakeside oil painting gallery now? Of course, Zhang Chen said. Wen said, then let's not go to the dynamic zone and go to the lakeside oil painting gallery. Zhang Chen got curious and asked, why? I don't know anything about oil painting or the National Art School mentioned in the contract. Please teach me, otherwise it won't be embarrassing if I talk to them again, and they will think I'm very unprofessional, Wen said. By the way, is there a place to sit in the oil painting gallery? I'm exhausted. Thank you hoo, Dao Tin Bing, flipping through the book every day, ranking third from top to bottom, 2 fishes one above the other, and the reward at 3 o'clock in the middle of the night. Thank you hoo, Cat Restaurant 777, Book Friends 201810282240439444, Book Friends 1202111022076691, Laughing at the Wind, Flowers, and Boys, and Yuengzi for your monthly passes. Thanks for all the votes and reading. I wish you all good health. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. The Pentium Era, South to North. Author, Mei Shi Niang. Chapter 1577. Zhang Chen took Wen Wen to the vault of the Lakeside Oil Painting Gallery. There was not only a workbench for repairing paintings, but also a sofa, a water dispenser and a refrigerator. There were also drinks in the refrigerator. Zhang Chen would sometimes sit here for a long time, pondering paintings and reading materials. Sometimes he would also help with some repair work, so the work area here was quite comfortable. Wen Wen was overjoyed when she came in. She sat down on the sofa, spread her hands and feet, hit the back of the sofa one after another, and shouted to Zhang Chen. "It's so comfortable, boss. I don't even need to stay in a hotel." Zhang Chen brought her a drink from the refrigerator, and Wen Wen asked, "Is there any coffee?" Zhang Chen said yes. "Then I want coffee." Zhang Chen came back from making coffee. Wen Wen had already taken out a document bag from the trolley case. She took out 2 contracts from the document bag. They were contracts for the cooperation between Zhang Chen and the Pictures Talk program team to publish books. Wen Wen told him that this is simple, you sign with your eyes closed and you get 10% of the royalties, that is, the book's price multiplied by 10%, and then the family gets half of it. "What is Ma Yang?" Zhang Chen asked. "It's the total price. The price of each book multiplied by the number of prints. Now we hope that the book will sell well. The more we print, the more money we will get." "Oh, forget it, you don't care anyway, you don't care about this click fee." "I care," Zhang Chen said, "I have never received royalties in my life. This money is different from money." "Okay, then you should work hard and make this book more beautiful," Wen Wen said. Zhang Chen signed where Wen Wen asked him to sign. Wen Wen put the contract away and said to Zhang Chen, "Boss, you can give me a lecture from now on. First, let's talk about what the National Art College is, and what is the meaning of moving westward. What's going on?" Zhang Chen thought about an article written by Mr. Wu Guanzhong, which recalled the move of the National Art College to the west. He found it and gave it to Wen Wen, asking her to read it first. Zhang Chen told her that the National Art College was the site of the National Art College at that time. The National Hangzhou Art College, later the Zhejiang Academy of Fine Arts, and now the China Academy of Fine Arts. After the outbreak of the anti-Japanese war, in November 1937, when Hangzhou was about to fall, Principal Lin Fengmian escaped from Hangzhou with more than 100 teachers and students in the school. They first went to Zhuji and then to Guixi in Jiangxi, hoping to build a school there. The Japanese came again, so they continued to travel southwest to Yuanling in Hunan, where they joined the National Peking University with those who had escaped from Beijing. The teachers and students of the art college merged to form the National Art College. But at that time and later, because the teachers of the National Peking Art College were relatively weak and the quality of the students was also relatively poor, the subsequent achievements of the teachers and students were not as good as those of the National Hangzhou Art College. So now when we talk about the National Art College, it is actually specifically refers to the group of people leaving Hangzhou. They stayed in Yuanling for half a year, and the Japanese captured Changsha. They were forced to continue westward to Kunming. Due to frequent air raids, they moved to Chenggong County. They stayed in Chenggong for more than a year and retreated to Bai in Sichuan, Shan County, and finally to Shapingba in Chongqing. In 1945, the Japanese unconditionally surrendered, and the National Academy of Fine Arts was redivided into two schools and returned to their original locations. The one that returned to Beijing became the Central Academy of Fine Arts, and the one that returned to Hangzhou became the Zhejiang Academy of Fine Arts. Zhang Chen found a group photo of teachers from the National Art College on an outing and told her which one was the principal Lin Fengmian, which one was the dean Lin Wenzhong, which one was Wu Deu, the director of the Western Painting Department, and which one was Pan Tianxiao, the director of the Chinese Painting Department. Then he told her about Western painting professors Cai William, Fang Qinmin, Ye Yun, sculpture professor Lu Kaiku, Chinese language professor Yu Deifu, library director Li Puyuan, etc. Are there two foreigners? Wen Wen asked, pointing to the photo. Zhang Chen was right, the two foreigners were, one was the Russian professor Du Fang and the other was the French professor Croteau. Zhang Chen then took out a group photo of students, pointed at the people on it, and said names one by one that were very familiar to Zhang Chen himself. However, Wen Wen looked confused when she heard this, and looked at Zhang Chen, not knowing where he was. What to say? To her, all these names are just names, there is nothing special about them. Zhang Chen thought for a while, then changed his approach and told her that this person's paintings were now auctioned for tens of millions, and that person's paintings were now auctioned for millions. As expected, Wen Wen perked up and sat there in shock. At first glance, she was shouting and screaming. After Zhang Chen finished the introduction, she couldn't wait to see these paintings worth tens of millions. Zhang Chen showed Wen Wen paintings by Lin Fengmian, Wu Deu, Zhao Waoqi, Chu Decan and Wu Guanzhong. Wen Wen was immediately discouraged. She said angrily, "That's it? It's so expensive. I thought it was for money." Jin Zi's painting, they all painted it so badly, it doesn't look good at all. Then whose painting do you think is better? Zhang Chen asked with a smile. Anyway, they are not as good at painting as Xiaoshu. Wen Wen said, "Look at Xiao's painting by Xiaoshu. It's so good, as if it's alive. Where are the messy paintings like them? Look at that painting. The mouth is tilted to the ears. Oh my God, if I see such a person, I won't be scared to death, thinking I'm seeing a ghost." The mouth that Wen Wen said is crooked to the ears refers to a self-portrait by Wu Deu. Zhang Chen smiled and explained to her what realism and concreteness are, what abstraction is, what are the general schools of painting, and what are their characteristics. For example, Zhang Chen told her separately what was so good about each of these paintings. Zhang Chen talked for a long time, and Wen Wen shook her head and said, "I am confused by what you said, and I still don't see what they draw well. However, you are so good at talking, so you probably have a point." Zhang Chen was immediately discouraged. He glared at Wen Wen and cursed, "A donkey can be enlightened. Okay, I give up. I don't know how to teach you anymore." Wen Wen giggled, "You have to have confidence in me, boss, tonight is still very fruitful. I have memorized a lot of words, such as Impressionism, Cubism, Dadaism, and Futurism. Can I use it? Are these words used to scare people? If you meet someone who is a little knowledgeable and uses these words but doesn't speak the right words, they will immediately see that you are not only half empty, but also have no bottom at all." Zhang Chen scolded. It's okay, that's all I'll do." Wen Wen stood up from the sofa and walked to a painting. She put her hands on her chest, frowned slightly, and said, "This painting has a good sense of rhythm. Well, its expression is multi-layered, there is a paradoxical metaphor. Well, from the picture, we can see the pain and struggle expressed by the author." Zhang Chen couldn't help laughing, and Wen Wen also smiled and asked, "How is it, how is it?" Zhang Chen said, "Okay, Just talk nonsense like this. Anyway, the more outrageous you are, the more likely you are to bluff people. Wenwen was overjoyed. She pointed to an abstract painting by Zhao Waoqi and said, "Isn't it like this? Look, this shows the vigorous reproduction ability of the universe. Can you feel this sharp penetrating power? Have you seen anything from this painting? In the painting, can you hear the rhythm of the universe?" Zhang Chen's stomach hurt from laughing, and he shouted, "Okay, okay, that's it. Anyway, this fits your Wenwen style of nonsense." They worked hard until about 2 o'clock, and Zhang Chen felt that it was almost done. He told Wenwen that it was time to close the door and call it a day. "If you don't understand, you will learn slowly in the future. Don't try to eat a big fat man in one bite." Wenwen said, "Yes, but I am really hungry and want to eat myself into a big fat man right away." Zhang Chen took her to Longxiang Bridge to eat seafood. By the time they finished their supper and arrived at the International Building, it was already past 3 o'clock, and Wenwen really got a half-price room. When Zhang Chen walked her to the elevator, Wenwen hugged Zhang Chen, kissed him on the cheek, and said to him, "It's a shame that a man and a woman were alone in a secret room before, and I didn't harass you. Now I must do it." Fragrant. Zhang Chen pushed her into the elevator and said to her, "Okay, I admit, you are still very serious when working." Wenwen giggled and shook her head proudly. When the elevator door was about to close, Wenwen quickly waved to Zhang Chen, "Bye, bye." The elevator door closed and the elevator began to move upward. Zhang Chen turned around and walked towards the hotel door with a smile. Zhang Chen appeared on CCTV's 100 Schools of Lectures. Although the current Hundreds of Schools of Lectures is not as popular as it was in previous years, it still has many fans. The most important thing is that having appeared on the CCTV screen to give lectures, it is like it was officially stamped and certified as an expert. This is more important than any academic qualifications or degrees. If you add the word self-taught, it will be more genuine than a real professor or a real expert. Next, there were really many activities to invite Zhang Chen. Wenwen even arranged a press conference for a certain brand of lipstick. Zhang Chen was so angry that he cursed. Wenwen said, Why are you excited? There is a very strict logical relationship here." "Is there any logical relationship between lipstick and me?" Zhang Chen scolded. Wenwen giggled and said to him, "Think about it, you are a celebrity and a handsome billionaire. Isn't that why a woman who paints her lips like a chicken butt is just to attract handsome billionaires like you, rich man? What could be more convincing than your presence at this scene?" The news about Zhang Chen's billionaire continues to be speculated on the internet. People say that he is the most educated billionaire. In the past 2 years, those entrepreneurs who have just come out of the fields and have just dropped their pants have been talking about Buddhism, Taoism, Chinese studies, or memorizing the titles of various world-famous books. They all like to dress themselves up. Confucian businessmen, people like Zhang Chen, who have been on the 100 Schools Forum and are really talented, must be recognized as representatives of Confucian businessmen. Even though Zhang Chen kept laughing at himself, he said, "I am indeed a milk merchant, with stinky milk." The set of books designed by Zhang Chen was printed by Chu Tianlin and others. From binding design to printing, they were exquisite and rich in content. They were very popular after publication. Lu Qing and Zhang Chen said that the publishing house hopes to continue publishing Go Down. It is impossible for Zhang Chen not to be a Confucian even if he is famous for his books and lectures on CCTV. Several universities came to invite Zhang Chen to be a visiting professor, but Zhang Chen turned it down. Wenwen scolded him, "Why are you so stubborn and don't do such a good thing?" Zhang Chen said, "I really don't dare to do this, and I can't do anything to mislead others." "Are you stupid? How many students do you think are studying seriously in those shabby schools? The school wants to borrow your celebrity aura. For those students, I guarantee that billionaires are more attractive to them than professors. Also, do you think that some of those professors are genuine? If nothing else, I can't get you. If you get those professors, just wave your hand and you can get a platoon right away. Wenwen cursed and cursed, making herself laugh. Xiao Fang called from the United States and said with a smile, "Brother-in-law, you are quite presentable. Bai Bei and I have watched your programs, and your speaking skills are quite good and level, really. Regardless of whether Zhang Chen wants it or not, when he appears in public again, everyone will think that he is an expert. Even if he does not admit it, others will think that it is just his modesty. He has become a recognized humble person. Celebrities and experts. Some people couldn't stand his modesty and said, 'Hey, this grandson is showing off again.' Thank you for your monthly votes from Zixi, JDD, Wu Family Courtyard, Girl Killer VIP, Tai Zongshang 1, and Robin Granite. Thanks for all the votes and reading. Have a good evening everyone. The Pentium Era, South to North. Author, Mei Shi Niang. Chapter 1578. Zhang Chen sat in the passenger seat and closed his eyes to relax. Wenwen, who was driving the car, muttered, "Tuxianjiayuan has arrived." Zhang Chen opened his eyes and saw the Tuxianjiayuan hotel on the right side of the road, but in just a flash, Wenwen had already turned from the big round disc at the Yingbin intersection to number 1 road. Zhang Chen glanced towards the end of the road, his eyes widened immediately, and he sat upright. "I'm going, it's gone," Wenwen exclaimed in surprise. At the end of the road, it turned out that Zhang Chen's factory had been demolished and turned into ruins. Several excavators were working on the ruins. Behind the ruins, the few houses in the original dormitory area had not been demolished and were still standing. There was no front. Blocked by the factory buildings, this area of the building looked extremely ugly. No wonder, all they could see now was actually the original backside. The side of the dormitory area facing the basketball court in the middle is its front. Even when Zhang Chen was designing it, he never thought that one day, the back of this employee canteen and the dormitory building next to it would be. It appeared so loudly at the end of road number 1, in front of people's eyes, and there was still ruins in front of it. This feeling and embarrassment is like taking off your shiny leather shoes, only to find that the big feet inside have already penetrated the holes in the socks, and there is no way to hide them. Zhang Chen couldn't help but close his eyes and couldn't bear to look anymore. He had never imagined that his carefully designed factory would one day appear in such a disgraceful appearance. This was still his own factory, a factory that he had once felt proud of. Zhang Chen felt a little nervous. He had been so busy for the past 6 months that he was almost completely deaf to what was going on outside the window. He didn't even know that demolition had begun here. On the day when Zhao Zhigang and his last group of people and supplies were leaving, Zhang Chen had promised to send them off, but he was out of town and couldn't make it back. Fortunately, Xiao Wu picked him up at the airport and headed directly to Zhongshan. Zhao Zhigang and the others were also waiting for him, and Zhang Chen finally caught up with the opening ceremony of Zhao Zhigang's factory. But now that I think about it, even this groundbreaking ceremony has become a bit vague and distant. Zhang Chen remembered that when he arrived at Zhongshan that day, a large crowd of people stood there in darkness. When they saw him, everyone burst into thunderous applause. Zhang Chen's eyes couldn't help but blurry when he saw familiar faces in the crowd. He was pulled onto the stage by Zhao Zhigang. Deputy County Magistrate Qiu and the director of the management committee were already on the stage. Zhao Zhigang stuffed a pair of scissors tied with a red silk rope into his hand, and the three of them clicked it together and pricked one. The red ribbon of the flower is cut. At the end of the ribbon-cutting ceremony, Zhang Chen was dragged down by Deputy County Magistrate Qiu as soon as he stepped off the stage. Deputy County Magistrate Qiu smiled and said to him, "All the cotters are waiting. Mr. Zhang, you must go and tell us." This is what the boss is giving me. I have decided to do the task of plucking the geese today. They went to the Zhongshan County Government's Great Hall, and Zhang Chen gave a lecture to the cotters in the Great Hall. Zhang Chen himself didn't know what was said in a hurry that day, but the response was said to be pretty good. In the evening, he was invited by Deputy County Magistrate Chiu. The secretary, the county magistrate, the director of the National People's Congress, and the chairman of the Z Association took turns coming to toast, and Zhang Chen was made drunk by them. When Xiao Wu helped him out, Zhang Chen vaguely felt as if he saw Zhao Zhigang waiting for him at the door of the hotel. Zhao Zhigang told him that he could stay here for one night. Zhang Chen actually didn't hear clearly what Zhao Zhigang was saying, but he waved his hands reflexively and said, "Go back, go back, go back tomorrow." Zhang Chen was mumbling. Zhao Zhigang didn't hear clearly where he was going tomorrow, but he knew that Zhang Chen was rushing to attend a scheduled speech and couldn't delay it, so he didn't dare to stop him and just talk to him. Xiao Wu said, "Be careful on the road, Xiao Wu." Xiao Wu said, "I know." Zhang Chen got into the car and was already unconscious. When he woke up, they had arrived in Hangzhou. Zhang Chen then remembered that he had never even entered Zhao Zhigang's workshop. He only asked Su Qiaxin later, and Su Qiaxin said where they were. "It's pretty good now, almost the same as when we were in Xiaosha," and Zhang Chen felt relieved. That day the car arrived at Splendid Home. Zhang Chen waited in the car for a long time. The trunk and back seat of the car were filled with Zhongshan local products given to him by Deputy County Magistrate Chiu and Zhao Zhigang. Xiao Wu moved them many times. They all moved to Zhang Chen's parents' house, and 2 land reclamation warriors came over to help with the move. Lao Zhang glanced at him in the car and said, "Drink less." Zhang Chen laughed. Xiao Wu finally helped him upstairs. Zhang Chen remembered that Xiao Wu's son was more than 3 months old, and Su Qiaxin had already returned to work after taking maternity leave. But Zhang Chen hadn't even met their son, and he hadn't even caught up with the full moon wine. He flew around the country for more than half a month. When he returned to Hangzhou, he only had time to go upstairs to the dynamic zone once every 4 or 5 days. "How could you see it?" "Xiao Wu, how is your son?" Zhang Chen asked. Xiao Wu smiled and said it was very good. "They all said it looked like me." Zhang Chen didn't know whether they said he looked like me, or whether he looked like Xiao Wu, or was as strong as Xiao Wu. He wanted to ask again, but he had already fallen on the bed and fell asleep immediately. Zhang Chen sat in the passenger seat and sighed. He didn't know how their son was doing now, nor how Zhao Zhigang was doing. Zhang Chen suddenly remembered that when he was recording the Inc. Zhejiang program on Zhejiang satellite TV the day before yesterday, he had received a call from Zhao Zhigang in the dressing room. At that time, he reached out and pressed it away. He originally wanted to call him back after the program, but then forgot about it. Zhang Chen quickly picked up the phone, called Zhao Zhigang, and asked why Zhao Zhigang called him the day before yesterday. Zhao Zhigang laughed. "Boss, did you just think of the phone call the day before yesterday? It's okay. I just called to ask you how you are now. I didn't get through. Then I called Wenwen and she said that you were on a show and you were busy right now. Man, if you're busy, I'll be relieved." "Why do you feel relieved that I'm busy?" Zhang Chen asked. Zhao Zhigang chuckled and said, "Come to Zhongshan when you have time." "Boss, you were in the factory that day. You didn't stay there for 15 minutes before you were taken away by County Magistrate Chiu. Kaidi and Liangfen both said no after talking to you. Everyone misses you." Zhang Chen said, "Yes, I will definitely go when I have time, and ask Kaidi, Zhao Hailong, Liangfen, and the working class for me how they are." "Okay, boss, I will tell you that you should also take care of yourself," Zhao Zhigang said. After hanging up the phone, Zhang Chen sighed softly again. Wenwen turned to look at him and said nothing. Instead, she accelerated the car and drove to the end of Road 1. She turned to the right and the car turned onto road 2. Zhang Chen suddenly realized that the car had reached road number 2, and quickly turned around to look. Wen Wen said, "Stop looking, there was nothing left." What Zhang Chen saw was still ruins. Wen Wen stretched out her hand and turned his head back. "Don't look at it. It's very sad to see it," Wen Wen murmured. "Such a beautiful factory will be gone if you say it doesn't exist. I don't know what it is doing." "Yeah, I don't know what you're doing." Zhang Chen felt that he had been in a very unreal state for more than half a year. He was taken here and there by Wen Wen every day to attend various activities and lectures, including talent shows on TV. Zhang Chen has been a judge several times. He met countless people every day and shook countless hands with a smile, but I'm sorry, he didn't remember any of them. When he received the call again and the other party introduced himself as someone, Zhang Chen looked confused. Wen Wen took the phone from his hand and chatted with the other party warmly. After the conversation, she said to him, "Are you stupid? Didn't we just meet President Jian yesterday and you forgot about it? It's true that noble people forget things." Zhang Chen smiled and said, "It's not that I forget things, it's that I, a noble person, don't remember things at all. You introduce so many people to me every damn day, do I remember to come here? I am the number one, and I don't have such a good memory." "What's the top card?" Wen Wen asked, then thought about it, laughed, and she said, "Okay, you are the number one, you just keep the style of the number one." Zhang Chen glared at her. Wen Wen smiled playfully, and she said, "Don't glare at me, boss, I didn't say that, you are the number one, but you said it yourself." While he was talking, Zhang Chen's cell phone rang again. Wen Wen took it and picked it up without looking at it, and said sweetly, "Hello, I am teacher Zhang Chen's assistant. What do you want from teacher Zhang Chen?" Your assistant, screw your teacher, Wen Wen, let Zhang Chen answer the phone." Tan Shuhen scolded on the phone. "Okay, Sister Shuhen, I'll let Zhang Tupei answer the phone." Wen Wen laughed and threw the phone back to Zhang Chen. Every time there was an event and Zhang Chen objected to attending, Wen Wen had 100 reasons to object, forcing him to attend in the end. The most justified reason is to tell him that you are still in the shelf life, the precious shelf life, you must cherish the shelf life, believe me. "Okay, I trust you." Zhang Chen felt that he had no reason not to believe Wen Wen. This carefree girl actually had a pure heart. She said she was thinking about herself, and she must be thinking about herself, at least from her point of view. If it had been today last year, Zhang Chen himself would not have believed that he, who was so repellent to go on stage, and even more repelled to speak on stage, was now numb to the podium or stage, so numb that he didn't even need to prepare a speech, he could just go on stage. Every time, in Wen Wen's words, "Boss, you speak so well, I am fascinated." Wen Wen once looked at him and asked doubtfully, "Boss, how did you do it?" "How did you do it?" Zhang Chen asked. "That's right, I see that you don't have a speech script, and you haven't prepared it in advance, but how do you make it different every time you go on stage and come up with something new?" Wen Wen said, "Boss, I have already recorded it and submitted it to the publisher, they will sort it out and publish it." Zhang Chen suddenly thought of Jin Lily's insightful words about finding a job in Hiken Park when they first arrived in Hiken. Jin Lily said that applying for a job is just like that of a woman. It is the first time that she is nervous and wondering. Xiangzi, after one time, it feels better, it doesn't matter how it comes. Zhang Chen couldn't help but laugh. Wen Wen turned to look at him and asked, "Why are you laughing?" Zhang Chen originally wanted to tell Wen Wen that speaking on stage was just like that of a woman. She was nervous and overthinking for the first time. After one time, she felt better and felt better. It didn't matter how she came. Nothing. Zhang Chen finally stopped talking to Wen Wen. In Xiaosha in September, the students all came back. The university town that had been quiet for more than a month began to become lively. Wien Wen slowed down and continued driving along Swaywen Street. The end of this road is where they are today. Destination, Zhejiang University of Communication. Zhang Chen was invited to come here to give them a lecture today. Thank you for being conceited, fragrant, ranking third from top to bottom, flipping through books every day, 2 fishes for 1, and 3 o'clock in the middle of the night. Thank you Xiang J, user 267124206, Tai Zongshang 1, no future, only remember the original intention, Dong Long Dong, frivolous, Aw Dragon, without a trace, purple, crush killer VIP, no penetration, Zongkai 727, conceited, cloth online monthly pass. Thanks for all the votes and reading. I wish you all good health. The Pentium Era, South to North. Author, Mei Shi Niang. Chapter 1579. Originally, according to the plan, Zhang Chen was going to the United States to visit Zhangjiangbei the summer vacation, but because Wien Wen's schedule was full and she was too busy with work, she couldn't go. Wien Wen and Zhang Chen said, "My son can go see it anytime, but not now. If you leave for more than a month now, when you come back you will find that not only has the shelf life expired, but it has also gone rancid." The two land reclamation warriors and Zhang Chen's mother and Xiao Zhao's mother didn't care whether Zhang Chen went to the United States. They had decided that no matter what, they would go to the United States to visit Xiaofang and Zhangjiangbei this year. Zhang Chen asked Xiaoshu to take them to the U.S. Consulate General in Shanghai to apply for visas. There were many people applying for visas, and the queue stretched from the visa hall upstairs to Urumqi South Road below, which stretched for 100 or 200 meters. In Shanghai in June, the sun was already very hot. Urumqi South Road was bare, and there was no cover for the people lining the road. Xiaoshu went to a nearby shop and bought some umbrellas for them to hold. They queued for more than an hour, moving step by step from the main road below to the building, and then to the visa hall upstairs. They were scolded by several security guards from time to time along the way. Lao Zhang was already very angry. Calling them scoundrels and guarding the door for the Americans, "Do you think you are great? If it weren't for Xiaoshu's persuasion, we would have started a quarrel at that time." When it was their turn, the result was just as Xiaofang expected, and the visa was rejected on the spot. Lao Zhang asked the visa officer inside the reason for the rejection, and the other person frowned, pursed his lips in disdain, and refused to say anything. The other party didn't say anything, so Lao Zhang just occupied the window and refused to leave. The visa officer had no choice but to tell him that he was suspected of immigrating. Lao Zhang started to get angry on the spot and cursed, "The devil wants to immigrate to your lousy United States. If my grandson is not in the United States and I want to see my grandson, even if you invite me in a big sedan chair, I will not go to your lousy United States. I am living a good life in China, why should I immigrate to the United States? What a bastard." That day, the visa officers were probably in a bad mood, and a lot of people were refused visas. When Lao Zhang scolded, several other people in the visa hall who were also refused visas followed suit. In the queue, people whose turn was about to come told Lao Zhang and the others not to occupy the window. As a result, Lao Zhang and the others started arguing with them again. The visa hall became a mess and the security guards couldn't control it. Finally, a few people came police. The police took Lao Zhang and the others downstairs, asked them about the situation, and let them go without even letting them get into the police car. The policeman and Lao Zhang said, "Old comrade, please calm down. If you don't want to go to America, you won't go. Since others don't welcome you, we have to be ambitious. I just won't go." "Are you right, old comrade?" Lao Zhang said, "That's right. Even if it takes 8 people to carry me in a sedan chair and ask me to apply for this crappy visa, I won't come." The 5 people got in the car. Xiaoshu called Xiaofang and said that the visa had not been processed. Xiaofang was not surprised at all. It was all within her expectations. She called Zhang Chen again. Wenwen answered the phone and said that Zhang Chen on the podium. Xiaoshu and Wenwen said that they should tell their brother-in-law that my parents' visas to the United States were not approved and they were rejected because they were said to have immigration tendencies. Wenwen scolded, "What's so great about this broken United States? If you don't go, you won't go. If you don't go to the United States, you will die. If you don't go to the United States, we won't be able to go abroad." We traveled to Singapore, Malaysia, and Thailand. When Wenwen said this, Xiaoshu remembered, yes, he could take them to travel to Singapore, Malaysia, and Thailand. When he returned to Hangzhou, he immediately signed up for a tour group for them to travel to Singapore, Malaysia, and Thailand, and handed over their passports, photos, etc. through the travel agency. The visa was quickly processed, which was very convenient. Xiaoshu and the pregnant Yao Fen took 4 old people and Yao Fen's parents to Singapore, Malaysia, and Thailand. They couldn't go to the United States, but they finally went abroad. The few old people soon stopped thinking about Zhang Xiangbei after having fun. During the trip, every time Xiaoshu called Xiaofang, it was not Xiaofang and Zhang Xiangbei who talked to them. But they rushed to report their day's experiences to the two of them. Tan Shehen often asked Wenwen about their itinerary. Tan Shehen would go with Zhang Chen and Wenwen on several occasions. Every time Zhang Chen saw Tan Shehen walking with them, he knew that Tan Shehen regarded him as his again this time. A stepping stone. There are generally 4 types of units that invite Zhang Chen to give speeches. One is financial institutions, and the other is large state-owned enterprises and central enterprises. They like to invite Zhang Chen because they want to incorporate Zhang Chen's speech into the construction of corporate culture. The most important thing is that Zhang Chen is famous enough that they can afford it, and the appearance fee can be easily accounted for. Wenwen charges very high fees for giving speeches to such institutions and companies. A 2.5-hour speech usually costs 200,000 to 300,000 yuan, and transportation expenses are calculated separately. There are also universities and government agencies. I go to universities and mostly give lectures to various MBA and MBA training classes. Most of the government agencies that like to invite Zhang Chen are 3rd and 4th tier cities and local governments at the county level. These local governments are eager to emancipate their minds and develop their own ideas. They feel that inviting Zhang Chen to give lectures is to communicate with the outside world. It has inspired me a lot. In these 2 places, Wenwen usually charges half the fee. She said that we are not losing money, but we are making money. Tan Shehen often went with them when the local government invited Zhang Chen to give a speech. After the speech, the other party would definitely entertain Zhang Chen and the others, and people from several teams would attend. Tan Shehen took this opportunity to invite all the local people to give a speech. The top leaders all know each other. After Zhang Chen leaves, they can enter. Getting to know them through Zhang Chen is more effective than any other introduction, so Tan Shehen said that Zhang Chen is her best stepping stone. Even in 2010, the entire land market had not yet formed a national chess game. 1st and 2nd tier cities were relatively standardized. When it came to 3rd and 4th tier cities and the county level in coastal areas, leaders still had the final say, and bidding was just a formality. Standard bids, string bids, and designated bids with various conditions are prevalent. After following Zhang Chen and the others several times, Tan Shehen was also surprised. She asked, "Zhang Chen, when did your eloquence become so good? Aren't you the most afraid of going on stage to speak? Now I see you on stage, you seem to be as comfortable as a duck in water. Your face, if your heart doesn't beat, you can just open your mouth and keep chirping." Zhang Chen said proudly, "What's this, isn't it just a performance? Who doesn't know how to perform? Were you nervous when you performed on stage before? I got it through training. Once you get used to it, you won't be nervous anymore," Tan Shehen said. "I've been trained to do this, and I'm used to it now," Zhang Chen said. Wen Wen pointed her thumb at herself and said, I, Sister Shahan, the boss was trained by me, and I am the animal trainer. Tan Shahan laughed, and Zhang Chen sighed and said, I didn't expect that in the end, I still didn't escape the fate of the monkey, and I was still being fooled every day. Wen Wen patted him on the shoulder and said, it's okay, it's okay. You are the most evolved and cultured monkey. Those below are the monkeys waiting to be tamed by you. Zhang Chen, I really want to ask you a question. Tan Shahan looked at Zhang Chen and said. What? Have you ever thought about why so many people like to listen to you? How do I know? You have to ask them. I know, Wen Wen raised her hand and said, the boss is becoming more and more famous now. What kind of style is a celebrity? Zhang Chen was also curious and asked. This is how celebrities look. Wen Wen raised her left hand and placed it horizontally in front of her chest, everyone is here. She then raised her right hand and placed it horizontally to her chin, celebrities are here. Did you see that there is such a big difference? Zhang Chen and Tan Shahan both looked at her, wondering what she was talking about. Wen Wen said. Don't underestimate this big section. With this difference, the height and angle are different. Those on top can look at the bottom and speak, while those on the bottom have to look up to listen. Nonsense, Zhang Chen said. What nonsense? Let me tell you, the heights are different, the angles are different, and the roles are different. Why do you say you have to seize the commanding heights? Boss, you just seize the commanding heights, so your roles and heights are different. If it is the same, I will tell you say, the effect is different. Wen Wen chattered endlessly, and Tan Shahan asked, what's the commanding heights? CCTV is the commanding heights. Wen Wen said, as a person, if you work hard to make some achievements in the county and become famous, then you will be a county-level celebrity and county authority. But if you happen to be in a provincial capital, such as Hangzhou, and you do the same thing and become famous in Hangzhou, then you will be a provincial celebrity and provincial authority. By analogy, if you become famous in Beijing, you will be a national celebrity. The authority in the country, which is different from that in Shanghai, so everyone is rushing to go to Beijing to be famous, to go to CCTV, not Shanghai's Dragon TV. Think about it, boss, if you are on the county TV station, even if you are on the 10,000 forum, it will be of no use. Your influence will not extend beyond this county. If you can go to New York and say this, it will be even more important. Awesome, you are a world celebrity. Therefore, the reason why those Hollywood stars are world stars is not because of how good their acting skills are, but because they are in Hollywood. Otherwise, if you ask Schwarzenegger to go to Bollywood, he will be just a stupid guy at best. Who knows him? Look, did Jackie Chan and Jet Li go to Hollywood to dare to say that they are world superstars? This makes sense, Tan Shahan said with a smile. I didn't expect that Wen Wen would make a lot of progress after following Master Zhang for a long time. Wen Wen giggled, and Zhang Chen said, that makes sense. What does it have to do with whether anyone listens to your speech? Of course it does matter, Wen Wen said, you have a celebrity aura now, and you are national level. So, for the same sentence, I say it is a fart, but you say it is brilliant, golden fart, yellow and shiny. A fart. Thank you for your monthly ticket to Air Inhumane and Road. Thanks for all the votes and reading. Have a good evening everyone. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. The Pentium Era, South to North. Author, Mei Shi Niang. Chapter 1580. Zhang Chen felt that what Wen Wen said was right, but not entirely. The starting point is indeed very important. My starting point was CCTV, which is why I am so famous now, and I have become what Wen Wen said, a national celebrity. If your starting point is Zhejiang TV station, even Zhejiang satellite TV, then it will break the sky. Maybe it is just a name. Even if you have a name, the name will not be outside the scope of Zhejiang. This is like a person who runs very fast. If you only run in your own hometown all your life, then you will at most be the fastest runner in your hometown. Even if your speed can break the world record, you are still just a runner in your hometown. Even the fastest person may not even know that there is such a thing as a world record in running. But if you continue to participate in the provincial games, you will immediately become the fastest person in the province. If you continue to participate in the national games and Asian games, you will immediately become the fastest person in the country and Asia. Then if you go to the Olympic Games, you will be the darling of the world. Another bold. The starting point and stage can determine and change a person's life. Zhang Chen admitted that he became famous now because he participated in painting theory and then participated in 100 Schools Forum. And after becoming famous, your right to speak seems to have expanded, and your words have indeed begun to have weight. Although in the end, no matter how much you say, the actual change in reality is still limited, but even so, it is different. In many words, when you are not famous, you are called complaining and dissatisfied. After you become famous, you become sharp. In fact, being sharp is just relying on your own fame to be a bit emboldened. Everyone still has a greater degree of tolerance towards celebrities, including the petty officials in the officialdom, who are still afraid of celebrities to a certain extent and feel that they should not provoke them by looking for trouble. This is why they condone Zhang Chen's boldness and even wantonness to a certain extent. The audience, especially netizens, are very fond of this and like to hear such words. Being a national celebrity can indeed guarantee that Zhang Chen will be in one place, talk nonsense for a while and then leave. Some local people who hate him are helpless, but this can make Zhang Chen win a round of applause online. It was this state that made Zhang Chen feel a little carried away and spoke freely, which made him quickly classified as a public knowledge. For example, one of Zhang Chen's videos that is very popular on the internet is a speech he gave to civil servants of the municipal government in a certain place. Zhang Chen was mostly unprepared for this kind of speech, but he would determine a general direction for himself based on the audience, and then continue along this direction. Zhang Chen thought of his previous experience in the theater troupe. He knows that whether an actor performs a scene successfully or not, his initial appearance on the stage plays half the role. If you get a round of applause for your first appearance on stage, that's half the battle. Even if you have some flaws next, the audience will forgive you. But if your first appearance is bad, your efforts later will be in vain. Zhang Chen feels that he is an actor now. He is familiar with the key to an actor's success, so he will carefully design his opening remarks every time. He knows that for the audience below, as long as they open their mouths and your opening remarks are attractive enough to catch them at once, you will have won half the battle. In the middle, you can make jokes, shake up your wits, stir up the atmosphere, and use a few humorous words. Add a story or two to show off your experience. This lecture can basically be won. Every time he took the stage, after the opening remarks, Zhang Chen felt that he had an advantage. Thinking about it afterwards, he also knew clearly what his advantages were compared with those professors and experts. He just used his strengths and avoided his weaknesses. Compared with those professors in the study, my advantage lies in my own experience and experience. Although times have passed, looking back, I can see that every success I have has a certain degree of chance, and I have stepped on many nodes correctly, but I use it as a talking point. When you step on the right nodes, these are your own capital. Compared with them, I have more domineering power. This kind of domineering power can be said to be domineering or decisive when deciding on a thing or a business. Compared with them, I also have more gangsterism. This gangsterism is the result of wandering around with the troupe at such a young age and being immersed in the lowest level of society. It was when I went to Hainan with Lu Ligan and Jin Lily and climbed up from the lowest level. It was when I and Xiao Zhao returned to Hangzhou and had no livelihood. When they pinched their tail to survive, they were naturally rejected by society. How could someone who had been soaked in water without a trace of gangsterism survive in that kind of environment? Don't think this is a simple thing. The success of a person, especially a man, must be both domineering and gangster. Domineering can let you decide the general direction, and gangster can let you know your source and strength. And at the same time, you will not overestimate yourself. Only by overestimating can you bend down. You will not be acclimatized no matter where you are. There is a reason why the leaders of the Chinese Revolution were not those who came back from France and the Soviet Union. Zhang Chen and Li Yong had talked about this topic when they were drinking and chatting before. Li Yong told Zhang Chen his own personal experience. An old comrade who had been a boss in Shanghai and later stepped aside because of a certain incident said it personally. I told Li Yong that he didn't have the domineering spirit to do big things and lacked the gangster spirit to do small things, and that's where he is today. Zhang Chen and Li Yong both agreed. In that famous video on the internet, Zhang Chen knew that the people sitting below were all civil servants. He thought about it and set the title of his speech today as Aesthetic Education and Urban Aesthetics. After Zhang Chen took the stage, his opening remarks were, "I know that those here today will feel disappointed and bored when they see this topic. Indeed, aesthetic education and aesthetics are both old words. What's the use of talking about them today? These two words are indeed seriously polluted words." Yes, I used the word pollution. In the process of using words, they will be repeatedly polluted and eventually rejected. Just like a piece of RMB, it was brand new when it first came out of the bank. But as it is repeatedly used, it becomes older and older, and finally becomes filthy. But no matter how dirty it is, we are reluctant to throw it away because it is money. The same is true for words. They are also polluted again and again in the process of use, and the more they are used, the older they become. Just like my assistant told me, she said that celebrities have a shelf life. She is right. Today is the first time I have come to you. You still feel it is new, and you are thinking in your heart, isn't this guy the one on TV? Go listen to what nonsense he is talking about, so you are here. I stand here looking at you. I see curiosity in your eyes, which means that I am here and the freshness is okay. I have never been to Gaibao before and you have never seen me. I am here for you. Say, isn't it new? A burst of laughter broke out below, and Zhang Chen continued. Don't laugh, it's really like this, but what if I come here once a month, once a week, or once a day? My freshness will decrease rapidly as the number of times I come increases, and finally if you see me again, you will be annoyed and scolded. This bastard is here again. Is the money we have here easy to cheat? Get out of here. There was another burst of laughter below. The same is true with words. When a word first comes out, everyone feels it is very fresh, and the power of this word is also very powerful. What is the May 4th movement around? Isn't it just MRD and MRSci, that is? The words democracy and science, think about it, two words brought about a magnificent and exciting movement. Will you still be excited when you read these two words today? They are written in the streets and alleys, appear in newspapers and leaders' reports, but yes, no one will be excited after seeing them, and they will definitely be excited. It's neurosis. In the process of evolution, words are like this. They are polluted and even raped again and again. Words also lose their freshness and power. But just like the polluted RMB, we have no way to throw it away. Throw away the RMB and you will become poor. Throw away the words and you will have no way to express unless you can create new words. With the development of society, especially the development of the internet, words will be replaced and polluted faster. For example, women were originally called lesbians. Later, after the reform and opening up, everyone began to call women Miss, but this word, because of the development of a certain industry, it was quickly polluted and turned into a derogatory term. If you call anyone Miss now, you will definitely get a blank stare. What should we do? Then we keep making up new words. First it was beautiful girl, then beautiful girl, and now we just call women beautiful people. I think the word beautiful girl will be very fresh. Hurry over, it won't be long, I think, as long as she is a woman, everyone can only call her goddess. There was another burst of laughter below, especially many women. They all laughed, thinking that being called a goddess was such an exaggeration. Zhang Chen said, "Don't laugh, believe me, this day will definitely come soon." Looking back, the aesthetic education and aesthetics I want to talk about are also two polluted words. Since they have been polluted, two words that are so outdated, why do I still say them? It's simple, I want to do something. What? That is to wash away the stains on them and make the contaminated words fresh again. Aesthetic education and aesthetics are specific to me. What I am going to talk about today, aesthetic education is for everyone here, and aesthetics is for the city. Thank you Tin Soldier, it's past 3 o'clock in the middle of the night, PCM 600812, it's so hard to pick a name and add one, I don't even know if anyone asks me, for the reward of 2 fishes, 1 up and 1 down. Thank you, Baby Tin Bing, it's past 3 o'clock in the middle of the night, don't take it too seriously, the little brother who eats fish, Li Rujin, designed for Cao Xiaoman, and, How, Lao Dibao Ei, Book Friends 201708031824497769, Book Friends 16081511114317 Kidnapper, Yuju, Zongxiu Monthly Tickets for Fenfei, Guandian Electromechanical, Book Friends 201705171725155577, Book Friends 1607281508205540, and Book Friends 201711210832371666. Thanks for all the votes and reading. I wish you all good health. The Pentium Era, South to North. Author, Mei Shi Niang. Chapter 1581. Zhang Chen looked down, took a sip of water, and continued. Let's talk about aesthetic education first. I haven't looked it up in the dictionary and don't know what the written explanation of this word is. What I said today is just my own feeling. The aesthetic education I understand refers to a person's self-cultivation and the improvement of one's own aesthetic ability. It is not an education of beauty. Beauty cannot be taught. It is a very personal feeling and a subjective standard, not objective. For example, when Europeans and Americans look at us Asians, they think that beautiful women are all apple-faced and have high cheekbones. But in our eyes, we definitely don't think this is the standard of beauty. If anyone looks like what they think, I probably have to worry every day. Rodin has a famous saying, there is no lack of beauty in the world, but there is a lack of eyes to discover beauty. It sounds like he is saying that beauty exists objectively, but in fact it is not. What he emphasized is the eyes. Eyes that discover beauty. Without eyes, beauty is meaningless. Beauty is discovered and created by our eyes. How can we give you a pair of eyes that can discover and create beauty? That is aesthetic education, which is what I call self-improvement. In this regard, we have greatly regressed or even weakened, especially for everyone here. As far as aesthetic education is concerned, you have failed greatly. When I arrived at your place, I came all the way from the airport and looked out the car window, and I knew that you had failed. Don't be dissatisfied. Many of you here have been to Suzhou, Hangzhou, maybe Tongli, Zhoushuang, or even the Yuan Garden in Shanghai. Everyone thinks the gardens in Jiangnan are beautiful. But have you ever thought about it, all these gardens, whether it is the humble administrator's garden, the Liuyuan Garden, or the Kanglang Pavilion, were all the residences of ministers in the past. It's the houses that these ministers built themselves. If you think the gardens are very elegant, it's because the officials at that time were good and they built such elegant buildings. Compared with them, you have degenerated. I said you are failing. Some people were unconvinced and shouted, even if we want to build, we don't have the land or money. Zhang Chen smiled and said, is that so? All it takes is land and money. Then let me ask you, who is planning the city? Who is building it? Who is controlling the city's finances? We are all here, right? You have so much money and such a big place, how are you planning and building the city? Why do I say that when I arrived at your place, I came all the way from the airport and looked out of the car window, and I knew that you failed? The reason is very simple. I saw the streets and houses, including your city. What did I see in the government building? Just 2 words, vulgar. All of this was not done by the people here or your collective behavior. Could it be that it was done by the people outside this courtyard and walking on the street? You can't throw this blame away, can you? There was silence below. Wen Wen and Tan Shahen, who were sitting in the audience, were secretly worried. Tan Shahen cursed in her heart, this bastard is nothing but a stepping stone. He is just a landmine. These words have offended many people here. Tan Shahen and Wen Wen looked at each other and smiled bitterly. Zhang Chen also smiled and said, I know what I said is very offensive to people, but what I said is the truth. If what you want to hear is not the truth, but praise for you, then you don't need to invite me. Just invite the children from the kindergarten. Their voices are better than mine, and they sing and dance when they praise you. I can't do this. Someone in the audience laughed softly. With this smile, the entire tense atmosphere relaxed, making Tan Shahen and Wen Wen breathe a sigh of relief. Zhang Chen said, from the municipal construction of a city, we can see the lack of overall aesthetic education of a city's civil servants. This is an irrefutable truth. Only people who are vulgar and have no aesthetic ability will think that uniformity is beautiful, and those here, I think there are many such people. When there are more people like this, there will be strange things like requiring all the storefronts on both sides of the street to be the same. They are all the same, so why do they need the store name and store sign? When you get the business license, you are the number 1 store, you are store number 2, you are store number 3. How simple and hassle-free it would be to keep lining up like this. On the door of each store, you only need to make a few Arabic numerals of the same size, and you can even use the same material to make them. How neat and uniform is this? But will there be a 100-year-old store if it is uniform? Go and see Tong Ren Tang, Hu Qing Yu Tang, and Rong Bao Zai. Which store will have the same door and signboard? When did these stores exist? During the Qing dynasty, all the officials of the Qing dynasty who wore pigtails knew that uniformity was not beautiful, don't you know? Aren't you ashamed compared with them? It can be said that compared to them, you are much more vulgar. Although there are no braids on the back of your neck, from an aesthetic point of view, your braids are much longer than theirs. When there are more evil people and officials, there will be weird things like cutting bell-bottoms and long hair with scissors. Everyone here has experienced this, don't you think it's ridiculous? If you think it's ridiculous to cut bell-bottoms and long hair is ridiculous, so what's the difference between requiring all shop fronts to be uniform? Isn't it also ridiculous? Why are there such ridiculous people and ridiculous things? What I said is that aesthetic education is not enough. Although everyone here has a high degree of education, in every unit, even those who send and receive newspapers and documents in the office must have at least a bachelor's degree, a doctorate, and a master's degree. There are piles down there, but it's no use, you're still failing, I mean in aesthetic education. I think some people may be dissatisfied and say, so what, why don't we just continue to work well? It's a joke. Don't flatter yourself. At this level, how can you manage the construction of a city well, Good. It is impossible for a group of people who have failed in aesthetic education to manage a city well. Don't be unconvinced. I will then talk about urban aesthetics. What is urban aesthetics? It's not just building more parks and making the streets wider, it is beautiful. Beauty is the same on the outside and inside. Beauty has inner temperament. It is not beauty if it is only on the outside. It is just a smear of makeup. Now, most of what we are doing is painting, rather than talking about urban aesthetics. Everyone has heard that it rains heavily in the city, and here and there are floods, but have you ever heard of the Forbidden City being flooded? Including. In your city, I can guarantee that the streets have been flooded. If not, please tell me. Zhang Chen stopped here and looked down. There was no sound. Zhang Chen continued, I haven't checked the information. Why do I dare to say such things? It's very simple. It's because the city is managed by a group of people who have failed in aesthetic education. They don't know what urban aesthetics is, and they don't know what a beautiful city is. The appearance is the same as the inside. What I can also be sure of is that, just like when your streets are flooded, the ancient buildings in your city are guaranteed to be safe and sound. If something happens, it is not the fault of the ancients. It must be your later demolition and disorderly construction. Its original drainage facilities were destroyed and the drainage outlets were blocked. Those officials in ancient times were much smarter than you, and they would not do such stupid things as you. Go to Ganzhou, Jiangxi, and the old houses in Taining, Fujian, and see how the ancients made urban drainage facilities and how they made drainage facilities at home. I grew up in a small town in the south of the Yangtze River. When talking about the small town in the south of the Yangtze River, everyone will think of the Stone Road. But let me tell you, the small town in the south of the Yangtze River has more than just the Stone Road. There are also drainage ditches under the Stone Road. There are not only drainage ditches, but also artificial lakes, which are water storage lakes. We rely on them to prevent floods and droughts. One is not enough, so 3 are dug. The drainage facilities of the entire town are connected to each other through open ditches and culverts. Yes, all waterways are connected, so that we can ensure that there is no flooding. There must be people from the urban construction department here. Throw away all the things on your desks, throw away your college textbooks, go to Zhubagwa village and understand how the ancients did it. You will know what to do when you come back. How to do it? I'm talking about you here, but I'm not talking about you. What I said is applicable to every city in the country. Everyone is working hard to demolish and sell their land. When demolition comes, they will throw the work to when you join the land acquisition and storage center and the contractor. You never care about what you demolish. You don't know that what you demolish is a living teaching material left to you by your ancestors. Then we created a bunch of cities that are exactly the same in the east, west, south, north, and middle. Apart from the height of the buildings and the width of the roads, are there any differences between our cities? To tear it apart, in addition to tearing down the GDP, it also makes yourself a joke. Let me give you an example of Hangzhou where I am. Many people may know that there used to be a city station train in Hangzhou. Station, this city station and train station have appeared in articles written by many celebrities. In front of the Chengjian railway station, there is also Qingtai Street, which was my favorite street in the past. Both sides are buildings from the Ming and Qing dynasties and the Republic of China. It can be said that the Chengjian railway station and Qingtai Street were renovated with the efforts of the whole country. Yes, why? Because Chiang Kai-shek is from Zhejiang, and every year he leaves the Chengjian railway station and passes through Qingtai Street. But it's just such a city station and Qingtai Street. It's ridiculous to demolish them all, right? What's even more ridiculous is to demolish the most unique and beautiful Qingtai Street. Now Hangzhou is going to start renovating the Southern Song Dynasty Imperial Street. Can't you save your energy and demolish it less? Why bother building it today? If the Chengjian railway station had remained and Qingtai Street had remained, today, if the Chengjian railway station had been converted into an intercity railway station, Chinese and foreign guests coming from Shanghai or other cities would have seen when you arrive at Qingtai Street, what a scene it will be like and what a beautiful cultural landscape it will be. Don't they all like to talk about building a certain city's business card? In addition to the West Lake, this could also be a good business card for Hangzhou. But now, this card is gone. With such a beautiful cultural landscape, you also don't expect to see it anymore, just because of your stupid peers, thanks to them. Zhang Chen said while looking under the stands. He saw Tan Shuhen staring at him, her eyes already burning. Zhang Chen himself also saw that someone was recording the video. This video will definitely appear on the internet. What he said, not only offended the people here, but also offended the person far away in Hangzhou. That person was the guy Li Yong said was not easy to cooperate with. It was he who demolished Changcheng Station and Qingtai Street. Although he was a celebrity, he was still under his roof after all. Zhang Chen understood what Tan Shuhen meant by glaring at him. Thank you Daos Hung 123, Ching and Ben to Lijhan for your monthly votes. Thanks for all the votes and reading. Have a good evening everyone.